Australia don't know you at all. They have never seen you play. But for Christ's sake, understand that that is your weapon. Terrific bloody work in 6 weeks. 6 weeks together. That's all I've had. Send a message to the whole of the bloody AFL. This is a bloody, very competitive unit. We haven't even started. Let's get into it.
Look at that. It's a foot candy like no other.
Let's go, Cook.
Unbelievable. You love it, did you, don't you? Goal! That is a remarkable goal.
Keep your bloody eyes there, James.
Oh, boy. Wowee. That is just pure class. Talk about talk the talk and walk the walk. How do you like that?
Magnificent scenes, ANZ Stadium. There it is in its absolute entirety. The birth of a new club here tonight, GWS. It's been a balmy day in Sydney, perfect conditions. There he is. That is, believe it or not, the G-Man. That's right. How original is that? The G-Man comes strolling out onto this magnificent stadium here at ANZ Stadium. Good crowd in, I reckon about 30-odd thousand people here as well. And certainly looking forward to a big contest. And as I say, the birth of the club. The G for the Giants, of course, stands for the ACT, the members, the partners, the sponsors, the players, the whole collaboration of people here at this venue. The big G, and that's what it's all about here, and a nice big crowd here, of course. Going to go down into the rooms in GWS very, very shortly. We're just got to get the timing right here because Coach Kevin Sheedy has allowed us into the rooms for his pre-match address. So we certainly look forward to that. Going to go back to Lingy outside. Got a lot more coming up a little bit later on as well. Jonathan Patton's going to join us a little bit later on as well. So we certainly look forward to that. Nice crowd, good conditions. Shortly we'll be joined by Matthew Richardson and Luke Darcy up in the commentary position. Cameron Ling will be doing all of the boundary work as well. Swans are due out in the ground absolutely any minute. And I can tell you, having been in Sydney for most of this week myself, the enthusiasm, the excitement generated, not just by GWS, but by Sydney in their first game of season 2012. There it is. They're the live shots. We're not going there yet, but they are the live shots inside the GWS rooms. Kevin Sheedy is about to address the players. Mark Williams has already had a bit of a chat to them and done most of the tactical and finite detail of the game. Let's go down to Kevin Sheedy now.
We have a great first quarter. And the best way to have that is sometimes you spend time with yourselves today thinking about this game and this opportunity that's presented. To me, I think it's one of the best involvements I've ever had in AFL. Just being with you guys, all of us here, all of us. Every player's come up, Luke, you know, Brogues, the whole lot, everyone. Because you're actually building something. Something really new. Great opportunity for these people in the west of Sydney that don't really know a game. Now, I'll tell you very quickly the things that I appreciate about what happened in my life, very quickly, for 1 minute. One is you've been given a life by your parents in a great country. Don't ever forget that. I don't have my parents anymore. They're not with me. But I actually live their life. Your parents are here. They're going to be watching the son they had. What a great opportunity. What a great opportunity. And they'll be sitting there watching, gee, I hope he's got the passion to really get out there and do well tonight. I hope he has the willpower that when he's near the ball, he gets it and he just doesn't miss it. That's what they're hoping. That's pretty, because that's what they'll be thinking, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. So the AFL's lucky they've got you. They're lucky they got you. And the biggest thing that we can actually win tonight is to get off to a good start in the first quarter. Don't and ever let any club or player dominate you at a ball, at a stoppage, in the air or on the ground. That is the essence of simple, bloody, basic football. Now let's get it going.
As the Sydney Swans arrive on the arena here at ANZ Stadium. Luke Darcy and Matthew Richardson as Adam Goods leads them out for yet another year. What do you make of that, Darcy?
What a fantastic insight, BT, that is into a man who has been absent in the coaching ranks for several years, and you can just see how much it means to Kevin Sheedy and to this new club. I thought he was fantastic.
Not many people at home would ever have had the opportunity to go into VFL, AFL club rooms before a game and hear one of the greats speak, so it was fantastic access there.
Well, we always seem to underestimate this mob here. I've had a really good look at their side. They have got a fantastic side, and you can see Kennedy in the middle of the group there with the ball. He's an absolute winning possession man out of the middle. He's the clearance king of the competition, Das.
We're going to talk a lot about the Giants, BT, but I think you make a very good point. In my mind, this is the most underrated list in the competition. It was only a few years ago when Paul Roos retired. There was a lot of people writing saying he left them in a big hole. They're too old. They haven't got any young stars coming through. I reckon young Sam Reid's got the chance to be a star. Jeddah, Rowan, look out for Luke Parker tonight. And their ability to recycle players, which shows almost unprecedented. They can get players in who they trade for and do it really well.
Well, you look at this lineup, it's absolutely chock-a-block full of quality players across all lines. One new player tonight, young Harry Cunningham, who came off the rookie list. He will start as the sub, but apart from that, that is a very, very experienced outfit, and they're going to be in the top 6 this year for sure, I would say, BT. A quality team.
Good-looking group of players there, Richo, no question. $26 to win the premiership there. So GWS Giants, here they are out on the ground for the first time. You can see their raw enthusiasm. That's what they will have in absolute abundance. The tribute to Jim Stein's a nice touch from this newly raised club in the AFL. Phil Davis, an absolute gentleman, had the opportunity to meet him. The big fella there with the beard. Moore, he'll play in the back half, and down for the obligatory photo of the brand new team. Das, what do you make of the Giants lineup?
Oh, we know they're inexperienced, but we know they're full of speed, they're full of talent, some experience at the back. Phil Davis, the co-captain, we've got him starting at full back. You can see Callan Ward, the other co-captain, who's a genuine hard nut. There's a bit of a theme running through this for me, Richo, with the way Mark Williams coached and the way that man Kevin Sheedy coached. He loved hard players. They love players that go in and intimidate the opposition. They might be young, but there is a little bit, Brian, of the hard edge to the way this side's going to play.
There he is, the man with a huge responsibility. The AFL's 18th club rests on this man's shoulders, one of the star recruits, Israel Folau. We're going to find out a little bit more, boys, about his commitment to this game tonight.
Oh, we certainly are. We're looking forward to seeing how he plays. The whole of Australia is. He'll start up forward. He can take those contested marks, as we've seen earlier. But I like the idea of him going into the ruck. He's got a huge lead. We spoke to Kevin Sheedy yesterday, and he can get his hand on the middle.
And just a reminder, the score review system is in practice tonight, so any contentious decisions on the scoring line will be reviewed by the scoring review system. Pretty simple system, and we'll see that in action tonight.
In the middle, you've got Kennedy on Ward. It's a good matchup.
Here we go, umpire Matt Stevick about to put it in the turf to get the GWS history underway. Giles, the ruckman, to contest against the big fella Mumford. So it'll be Kennedy, the hold in the middle of the ground. Sydney will go long, already into attack, and a nice hang there. Couldn't quite get hold of it. Reid, didn't he have great form in the pre-season? Goods looked dangerous. Corns wide. And now the skipper Davis. Good looking ball back inside. Smith. Long ball for Lau. Has been good overhead in the NAB Cup. And a boundary throw in.
Well, Das, that's going to be a real big test for Izzy Folau, because Heath Grundy has had a great pre-season. He's been one of the Swans' best players. He really developed at centre-half back last year.
Yeah, can really play on a tall and a small, which is a great thing. And Phil Davis has got the matchup on Sam Reid. Two young players, but going to really enjoy that one. Here they are at it again.
Yeah, Matner got a forward. Here is Reid again. Quick hands, well done. McVeigh nursed a little kick. It was good, wasn't it? The little man McGlynn. Goods under pressure. Ward's got him in the tackle. Did he dispose of it? The umpire said okay. Back inside. Jeddah an opportunity there. Sydney all over this in their forward half. Picked up by Jack. Snap it. Goal. He's got the first for Sydney. Gary, Jack, unbelievable stuff. Sydney get off to a flyer.
It certainly did. They're really going tall in their forward. They've got Lewis Roberts-Thompson down there and Sam Reid. They're trying to stretch them in the air. And they just got beaten on that spread a little bit there out of the contest, the GWS, and that was just an unlucky bounce, but in the right place. Kieran Jack puts it through.
Adam Goods also starting forward for the Swans. As I said, Roberts, Thompson and Reid. So it is a tall setup. We know that that is something that the Giants are going to develop. Key defenders, Phil Davis, obviously their co-captain, the one who's probably going to go to the opposition best forward. But there is the first goal, kick out of 2012. Kieran Jack.
Yep, Dylan Shield, his direct opponent, free kick in the middle. It'll again go to Sydney.
GWS ball.
GWS,
Straight
in
to him,
fact. To Dylan Shield.
That's a great match-up with Luke Parker.
Just played the one game in the NAB Cup or the contest last week, and that was enough to get him a game here. They think so highly of Dylan Shield. There's Jude Bolton. Quickly out Reid. Surely over the shoulder. I said no. Now Kennedy. Stack of the ball already. Kennedy. Opportunity Sydney. How easy. Everett. Above the knee.
He's getting involved in plenty of contests, Sam Reid early. Hasn't been able to hold on to a mark as yet, but he's already been involved in 4 marking contests.
You just saw Chad Corns there was tracking Andreas Everett back to the goal square, so they've had to put one of their experienced players just with some height, so Corns in defence.
Giles over the top. Finish in the hands of Toby Green. One of the high possession getters in this team.
Over the summer, they've been good in this area. Clearances and contested ball, GWS. They've just got to watch it on the spread.
Kennedy, perfect tackle by a couple of GWS players.
Yeah, and it was the hard nut Callum Ward, the former Bulldog. It looks as though they might have set Callum Ward to run around with Josh Kennedy. Appears to be tracking his every move at this stage.
Yeah, so Ward doing well there, shooting the ball off in the direction of Palmer, the former Fremantle player. Over the top of it here is Hoskinelli. You'll hear a lot about him. He's a good player as well. Now in the hands of Grundy and the turnover. Corns. It's backward to the centre, nursed the ball. Palmer's run forward and found Good's position. Thought about the one wide, and here is Curtly Hampton. He's a dynamo up forward. He'll play all night in this position.
That was great play by GWS. They forced the turnover in the middle with Chad Corns, who always reads the ball really well. But then they got really good spread away from that. Reece Palmer, we know he's a fantastic runner. He just burst to the half-forward flank and then delivered it into Curtly Hampton. He's got some trick stars.
Including being able to spin the ball on his finger, basketball style, Brian. He can just turn on the magic, this man.
Yes, he can, Curtly Hampton. A very difficult, angled shot, but he's a very skillful player offline. By the way, his dad is the Minister of Sport in the Northern Territory. And this young man spent a couple of years boarding in Adelaide.
I think his uncle's Gilbert McAdam as well, BT.
It is indeed, Richo.
The great Gilly.
Quite right. So he's got some great genetics about him. At the moment, Sydney, and some numbers. Jack just over the top. Roberts Thompson, as he always does. A lot of the hard work.
Obviously got the big picture view of the game here. They've been reasonably competitive around the contest so far. Obviously Kennedy, the number one contested possession player in the game, has got off to a good start, but they haven't been caught out. It looks as though they're man-on-man matchups. So the Giants, so far, early stages of this game, so good.
Third man up in the contest was Ward as well, but Sydney with the takeaway. They are a great clearance team. Have a look at the Goods mark in the hands. We like to see that. The juke's extended. Now Goods, long high ball. Davis at the back of Reid, juggling attempt, almost got it. Davis did well in the end, but still under enormous pressure here, GWS. And did well to find the boundary in the end, Phil Davis.
Started well, Phil Davis. As I said before, Sam Reid is getting to plenty of contests, but he's just been able to force the spoil. He's been right on him at every opportunity.
The orange colours of GWS, Darcy, they look great. They look great with the crowd as well.
Look great on our screens too. They really stand out. We've seen the orange all around Sydney in this last couple of days up here.
There's McDonald, the old campaigner. And as you said in the pre-game, one of the coaches of GWS, playing coach. So great news there. Hoskinelli underneath this one, but getting over the top, the capable hands of Richards. Richards looking to transfer the ball, almost had to talk his teammate into going wide and getting into position in Rowan. Started the day on the bench. Over the top to Nick Smith. Little left footer around the corner, didn't have the journey covered, and Ward takes an easy mark.
It's been a pleasing thing so far, BT, is that they haven't been burnt in the transition run. Now, they're young and they're quick. You worry about them in the last quarter when they get really tired, but so far their discipline to defend, Richo, has been quite impressive.
And that's great. Callum Ward getting across the half-back and chopping off the ball. Intercept marking is something that is so important in the modern game, and very good effort by Callum Ward.
Saw them practice this very situation in a game where they just want to hold the game up a little bit, chip it around, hopefully find a target. and slow things down.
Sydney is so good at stopping that transition from their forward line into their defensive 50. Teddy Richards, it's his second intercept mark.
Yeah, it's a 50.
Can't do that.
Yes, I'll come in.
It's against Callum Ward, but what happened?
Stay down here, mate. Stay down here.
The umpire just directing the 50-metre. Callum Ward had a 2-on-1 situation. He did the right thing. He left his man. He ran 60 metres, and he knew that if he let that play go on quickly, he was going to get burned out the back. So it was probably an understandable infringement.
Smith, 35 metres out, directly in front. Never any doubt about that from the moment he left his boot. Swans have got their second. And off to a magnificent start here, the Sydney Swans.
Yeah, Das described it perfectly. Knew that he was going to get burnt over the top if you let him play on, but they will not let you even touch that player now after the mark, and he did do that. It was definitely a 50-metre penalty, and the goal results.
And you can see the replay of that here. Let's get down to Lingy on the boundary. Lingy.
The young boys for GWS are certainly blowing when they come to the bench, and I've noticed the real lift in intensity, obviously, from the pre-season. They are puffing when they come to the bench. It's welcome to AFL footy for the young boys.
We're going to see a change in the rotations, Lingy. Is it going to be pretty similar to last year? I think we averaged just over 100 last year.
And we're going to see Big Izzy take his first centre bounce. There he goes.
What do you reckon, Lingy?
I can see a lot more rotations again this year. I think everyone will have got used to the substitute rule, and they'll be prepared for it. Make sure they keep the intensity on the game.
I want to have a look at that ruck contest a little bit later on, especially involving Mumford as well. Das, I know you're very keen on it. Here's the shield ball, goes to centre half forward, and Mumford, the man we speak of, to McVeigh. McVeigh in trouble. Now Mumford's really got to go. Got some numbers. Here's Melcheski. Good user on the left. Look at that. Magnificent Kennedy. Chip wide, and Reid gets off his man Davis.
Stay there.
Did that well. Doubled back on Phil Davis and caught him out beautifully, Sam Reid.
Really good touch in the NAB Cup, Reid. Goods has got great position. Almost a free kick against Moore. The umpire let it go. Dragged to the ground was Everett. Bolton's in there as well. Here's Bird.
Pretty good defensive effort there from the Giants. As we look at Israel Folau's first action in AFL football, it's incredible athleticism, isn't it, to be able to jump over the top of Mumford. Kevin Sheedy was espousing his ruck work ability yesterday at training.
Hoskin Elliott, quick hands. Off hands, Jack has got the interception here. Here's Rowan. Started the day on the bench. Bird again. The tackle by Shield didn't really stick. Ball goes over the line and out of bounds there.
I'll tell you what, their pressure's really good all across the ground at the moment. They're not letting the Swans out. There's not a lot of easy ball for the Swans, so they've just got to be able to maintain this, but their full ground pressure is good at this stage.
Israel Folau on the ruck again. Played more minutes than any other GWS player in the NAB Cup, and had more interchanges than any other player for GWS in the NAB Cup, so it indicates the tank is not quite there. The other components are coming together. Kennedy touched off the boot. This won't be a mark, so quick hands the order of the day, and they were nicely done by Adam Kennedy. McVeigh with the spoiler.
And Jacob Townsend there, we just saw that previous contest really crack in hard after the footy, put his head over the ball, and I'm sure when they do the review on Monday, it'll be Kevin Sheedy, be Mark Williams saying, that's what you can control, we want that.
Let's go to Kevin Sheedy in the box now. Sheeds, you've certainly been able to tie them up here, and you've stopped the flow of Sydney Swans.
Well, look, except for that unfortunate 50-metre penalty, it would have been 1 goal to 1 point, basically just about at the 10-minute mark. Look, we're working hard. We're trying to keep the pressure on at the work face of the ball, and our defenders are really hung in pretty tight most of that time.
Yeah, talking of the pressure suit, it's been fantastic so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'd just let a goal go then. It actually hold the mark, and that's a simple, basic skill, and they don't get that extra shot at goal.
So Smith picking up his second goal. So is there anything else you need to do right now, Sheeds, in terms of organising your side? You've stopped the flow, you've stopped the scoring a little, but do you want to see something else out of your back line or your forward line?
No, I'd like to see a ball straight out of the centre square and get it into our forward line quickly, because I'm not quite sure whether the Swans have got the greatest back line in the league, particularly with Shaw out.
Sheeds, we just saw Israel Folau take his first ruck contest. Great athleticism. Are you going to use him there across the night?
Oh, yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. I mean, he's just working into another position to play in AFL, which has been excellent for us.
Callum Ward looks to be running around with Josh Kennedy. Is that a matchup you've been trying to orchestrate?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're very strong players over the ball. That's just a matchup that we wanted to go for, and they're both probably acquitting each other pretty well. They're very good players, both of them.
Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, Kev. We'll catch you later in the night.
Not a problem.
Kevin Sheedy in the coach's box. Thank you very much to all at GWS for allowing us to have a chat during the course of the game with the coach. Here is Moore.
That was a great one-on-one mark. We spoke to Steve Silvani about him yesterday, and he liked what he saw, Darcy. He likened him a little bit to a young Darren Glass. He's a mature age player. He's come from Casey Scorpions, but he talked about his one-out marking, and he's outmarked one of the best of all time in Adam Goods there.
It's big Israel, who's sucking the big ones in, as you would expect. It's going to take him a while to adjust to the aerobic requirements of an AFL player.
Giles doing the ruck work. On that occasion, in towards Reed. Plenty of GWS players here on the ball. Corns in the middle of it. The give and go. Hoskin Elliott again. It's really, really good play here at the moment from GWS. The kick, though, a little hurry and under some pressure. Nicely done by Grundy. Does that so well. Goods. Sells the dummy out wide, and pretty ordinary kick in the end from Adam Goods.
One area we know that is going to be a challenge. It's a 4 or 5 year list plan that we've spoken about with the Giants, but the key body being able to get that get-out kick, and at the moment they're relying on 17 and 18-year-olds. Jeremy Cameron, we spoke about before the game. He's 18 and he's coming up against big, hardened defenders who are just at the moment a little bit too capable.
Well, there he is there.
Marks it on cue there. He's got good work rate. He's been working up and down the ground nicely, and he pushed hard to make that contest there.
The boy from Dartmoor, all he does is fish and play sport up there, I believe.
Bit different in Sydney to Dartmoor, BT.
Yeah, just quite a few million different there. Richo, this man here has got a bit of the ball so far as well. Bird. Game 63 for him in his career.
Held them up well here.
And that's a pretty good result for GWS. Nicely done in the end by Green. Toby Green, and now an opportunity with Cornelio. Did well to keep it alive and advance the ball forward by Bugsfoot. And again, a bit of yardage for GWS there.
It's Curly Hampton on screen. Liked what we saw from him at training yesterday. He's got plenty of exquisite skills. Hopefully we see a few of them tonight.
Israel Folau heading back into that forward line. Mumford dominating. Giles just got pushed off the ball a little too easy there. Around in reasonable condition. Some of the players slipping, as you can see. McGlynn in tight. Opportunity out wide here. Wilson's involved, so is Corns. Long ball. Folau is kicked to the wrong side of him, in fairness. And the mark, in the end, Grundy. Just wanted it to his left side. Folau.
Yeah, the kick didn't help him out there, and Heath Grundy has turned into a very, very good defender. He's just got to learn to be able to at least bring that to ground and give his crumbing forward some opportunities to lock it inside 50. Just comes out too easily.
Too wide there, Sydney, and ran out of tarmac. Centre wing, so with 14 minutes gone off the clock, Darcy, and only 3 goals scored, this is a pretty good result so far for GWS.
I'm reasonably impressed with them so far. It's going to be a tough night as it wears on. We think that the hardened bodies might just run away with it, but they've been impressive. They're organised, they're disciplined, and here's some of the stuff that's going to really excite us this year.
Absolutely. 17 debutants tonight. Here's Jeremy Cameron, 2-on-1, and Richards did it well.
Stay clear, Boyle.
Always been good at that, Teddy Richards, coming third man in, and their defenders are marking the ball a lot at this stage. Grundy and Richards have both had multiple marks in the contest. They've just got to try and get it to ground. They haven't given any of those crumbers a chance at this stage.
There's Johnson. Alex Johnson, game 21.
A real revelation, this man last year, BT, from Xavier College, who held down the defensive role last year, played 20 games. Have got a great ability to develop talent, the Sydney Swans, and I reckon their list is really exciting.
Well, a turned one over here, which is highly unusual. Folau backing out. Opportunity for Ward on his non-preferred side. The first goal kicker for the GWS is their co-captain, Callan Ward.
What a great moment that is. And we're just looking at Kevin Sheedy, Alan McConnell, one of the assistants as well. And I'm wrapped for Callan Ward. He was obviously deciding whether or not to move he wanted to make up here to the Giants. He's a tough, hard nut. He's going to be a fantastic player for this side. And that's something he's added to his game as well, Richo, his ability to score goals. There it is, the first goal kicker ever for the Giants, Callan Ward.
And he's been leading by example over the summer. He's been the leading possession getter. He had 30 touches last week in the last NAB game, and that goal's a result of a forward half turnover, and that's what modern footy's all about. And their pressure was fantastic. That'll get them up and about now. They'll be excited. got a goal on the board.
They've owned the ball, or a fair bit of it. 41% of the play has been in GWS half of the ground. There's McDonald with a real heavy hip and shoulder. Has not recovered the Swans player in the middle of the ground. Has GWS just get a little bit of a snifter here? Here's Goods. Hurried it. Richards likewise. Shield was there. McVeigh under enormous pressure. And eventually Sydney out of trouble with the kick of McGlynn. Up towards Reed. Davis jumps on it. Had to paddle it out the back. Quickly gobbled up by Smith of GWS, and now Kennedy. Free kick will go the way of Ward.
Junior McDonald, welcome back to footy. This is James McDonald, who just come straight off the square and said, I'm back, and has just executed a massive shirt front. Now, the second look at that, it looks as though it might have been a bit of shoulder. Now, did he get him high? They'll have a look at it for sure, but James McDonald's back.
And since Junior last played, the interpretation of that has changed a fair bit. We know you can't make any contact with the head now.
Well, the umpire was standing 3 metres away. He deemed not to give it a free kick for a head-high tackle, so an interesting one. Bolton now. Roberts-Thompson got only McGlynn inside 50.
Yeah, they've done well. They've been able to hold up. They've got numbers behind the ball here. Phil Davis is blocking up space, and they held them up well, forced them to kick wide.
They have indeed. Tomlinson out wide. Just needs to wait for the troops to arrive out there. Doing well. Sydney in numbers. Everett's involved, the former Dog. Back inside with a sloppy handball. Here's Moore. The clearance numbers out there are good. Cornelio. The class of Cornelio goes wide, and the boundary line, but it'll come back and be a free kick against GWS.
Yeah, we're going to take a look again at Junior McDonald, who played 251 games with Melbourne, and well, I love the statement from him. He's come across, he's going to be a leader, he's prepared to go in. He might have a bit of an issue there. They'll look at that definitely in the match review panel, but it was just, hey, I'm going to charge in. I'm going to show this young group what it means to be a hard competitive player. I like it, Richard.
And they're two leaders. Ward kicks the goal. Junior comes off the line and makes a physical contest and lets everyone know what they're all about. That's a good leadership from their two older players.
Doesn't look like he'd hurt you, James McDonald, but gee, can get frightful at stage.
Doesn't mind it, BT.
Yeah, likes mixing it up a bit. Stolen here. Sheila again involved. The run of Palmer. The use is good. He had absolutely nothing on down the ground, so he went to the ruckman in Giles. He did well. Just held the ball up ever so slightly, allowing Shield to once again go forward, but it's all the Swans here now. Johnson, the boy from Xavier College, via the Oakley under-18 competition of the TAC Cup.
Area of the game they haven't been as organised is getting a forward setup that's going to allow a contest, and that's a challenge. I mean, the young players, they want to get involved in the contest. They're pushing up the ground. Have they got the work rate to then get back hard and make sure you're there for a contest? Now, at this stage of their development, probably not.
Melcheski, pretty ordinary kick. An opportunity here for Smith to have a mid-air shot.
For the last 10 minutes, they are right in this game. They've had 4 inside 50s, but the contested ball is even in the last 10 minutes. So they've found their legs and they're in the game now, the GWS.
McVeigh goes wide with the ball, and once again, Sydney. It might have been Melcheski out there wide. Here's Jeddah. Fast shoes, inside 50, a bounce. It didn't come back. Now he's got to find it. GWS closing. What does he do here? Bit of a pirouette. Coughed it up in the end. Good pressure from GWS. Nice play. Palmer, the finisher. Very good pressure.
Bit of referred pressure there. He knew they were coming. They chased hard.
Hampton underneath that one. And Bolton. Sydney just controlling now. Grundy. Out wide with a high ball. Good grab. Great use of the body from Jacob Townsend. Did really well. Hurried the kick a little. Cameron was there, and here's Hoskin Elliott. Got the handball back to Green. Just fumbled at the crucial moment. Got a free too high.
They rate this man, BT.
Hoskin Elliott, they do indeed, Richo. Kick down to Giles at his toes, wasn't fantastic. Didn't really give him an opportunity there, and now McVeigh again, a chance to tidy it up to Melcheski.
He's got the look of a wingman, hasn't he, Hoskin Elliott? Rangy type at the moment. He'll put a little bit more weight on, obviously, but
he was involved in the Jager O'Meara deal. He was, I think they got picked 4 and picked up Hoskin Elliott as a result of the O'Meara deal. He is a big mark. Some tell me at GWS that he'll one day take the mark of the year. Let's get down to ground level to Brett Kirk.
Boys been really impressed by Stephen Cornelio and Devon Smith. 18-year-old kids have really stepped up straight away.
Yeah, they've shown plenty, Kirky, haven't they? It's been really impressive. Their work rate has stood out to me so far. They've really kept up with their men. And that there is one of the experienced players, Jonathan Giles, in the ruck, who had 4 seasons at Port Adelaide, BT. Wasn't able to get a game in the 4 seasons, but I reckon he's a player that is giving them a little bit, just a big body and a big front.
Well, Mark Williams sacked him at Port, of course, and then had to go and recruit him. How do you do that?
A touch awkward.
Yeah, a little awkward, I would have thought. Bug. Free kick.
Choco would have had a good explanation for that, BT.
Somehow he got out of it, Richo. I'm not sure how he did it, but he said, oh, you just needed a couple of years of maturity under your belt.
Did him a favour.
Absolutely did. Here is Hoskin Elliott.
Oh.
And Israel only knows one way, and that is to go hard. And the thin body of Hoskin Elliott is not recovering all of that well at the moment. Corns was just trying to manoeuvre Everett, get him to kick over the ball, and he did. Here we go again. Moore. Here's a thumping kick of the ball, but this is going to require some precision. Looking for help. Has he run too far? Umpire said keep going. This is great control from GWS, and a ball down low as we see Gary Rowan on the deck behind play. Here's the boy from Mandurah, Nathan Wilson, goes forward. And mark taken by Johnson. So Rowan in the hands of the trainers, not feeling well. But an exciting passage there from GWS. Back on his feet now.
Not sure he's quite with us, though.
Short ball inside here to Melcheski. Well, Gary Rowan's coming your way, Kirky. What do you make of him?
Well, like Jude Bolton and Gary Rowan just clashed heads, and usually if you run into Jude Bolton, you're going to stay down a fair while.
Okay, so
He's got a little cut above the eye, the right eye.
too much devious in that. Then if it was a friendly fire action, Goods really well done. Johnson on the move. Has got a bit of the ball here in the first half. Reed all over it. Doing well in defence. Moore. Callan Ward ran into Bolton. There he is. Looked for the give and go. Gee, they're combining well out of defence here at the moment. Lenz with Shield. Does a bit of a spin and ran back into trouble. Bug. I'm surprised at their composure. GWS away here with Devon Smith, the boy from the Geelong Falcons footy factory under Mick Turner. It's clever play, picked up by Hampton, rolled it towards goal. It was excellent play by Nathan Wilson to keep it alive initially. Hampton couldn't quite finish, and the Swans would be happy with a throw in there.
Hey, what a great passage of play that was for the Giants. They got back in numbers. Here's Israel Folau. At some point, he's seriously going to hurt someone. The problem for the Giants so far, that was his teammate Hoskin Elliott, and he cleaned up, as we know, Tom Scully, who's not playing tonight as a result. But this was great composure, as you said, BT. They worked it really well from defence to attack.
And the collision of the heads, as Kirky pointed out there, sending Gary Rowan from the ground. Here's Roberts Thompson, the scrapper. The run wide is held up temporarily. Parker back inside. Here's Corns, head over it, had to concentrate, had Jetta coming at him. Needs support, Reed. Roberts Thompson, through a bit of traffic. Bolton, now Bird. Looks sideways, nothing. Goes long, and mark taken in the end. Good mark it was by Kennedy down low.
It's a great asset for the Swans, isn't it, to be able to put your big-bodied midfielders forward who've had a lot of the footy, who are great at protecting the space. And I love this role for Kennedy. Jude Bolton's almost turned himself into a part-time centre-half forward in the latter stages of last year. They're hard matchups, Richo.
Yeah, good call, Darcy. This is great that he's gone forward and potentially can kick a goal, because he only kicked 10 goals last year, an area of his game that can get better. This will be a good start to the year.
Kennedy, 30 metres out, almost directly in front. He converts the goal. So Sydney kicked their 4th goal here.
That's a great result. Josh Kennedy getting a goal there. He's had a solid start, 7 possessions. He's on fire early, went off the ground for a little while, then he's pushed forward. Good result.
Giles out of the middle. Just a little piece of it, so just a minute to go here. Sydney, can they conjure another opportunity? There's Hanbury. Wilson, a little clever tap along the ground with the boot. Ends in the hands of Bolton. Plenty of time. Horns is over the back. It was nicely juggled. Would have almost paid that mark in the end of Parker. Goes inside, missed the target. Moore has been pretty good in defence. Did Parker have it? I thought not. Corns. Nifted out to Bug. Under pressure was Bug. Now Green likewise. Kennedy, who's the second most obvious target in the forward 50 for Sydney, the other being Goods.
Chad Cord, you dragged it in. Yep.
And he'll get penalised this time, Kennedy.
Well, one of the interpretations the AFL are on notice over the last couple of seasons. If you drag the footy underneath, you are going to be pinged holding the footy on every occasion.
Holding his arm. Against you, Shane. You held his arm.
Stood up right, Jonathan Giles, playing against Ruckman. I rate enormously Shane Mumford. Good start from that young man.
Well, Kevin Sheedy would walk out of the ground here at the moment absolutely full of confidence with what GWS have been able to prove. Let's remember, the Sydney Swans are 17 points in front here. 4-1-25 GWS in their first quarter of footy, 1 goal, 2-8.
Kevin Sheedy, Richo, spent an enormous amount of time with Israel Folau, just one-on-one directing him on the way he wants him to play.
Second quarter underway here. And Sydney with the first clearance out of the middle. Going in the direction of Reid. That's almost a mark. Juggling attempt. Bird slung in the tackle. Here's McVeigh. Tackled very aggressively by Kennedy.
Story of the first quarter for Sam Reid. He's almost taken about 6 marks. Only 1 mark inside 50 for Sydney in that first quarter. Good work by the defence of GWS.
Mumford cleverly had the ball knocked away. Soccer by McDonald, who landed a very heavy bump in the first quarter. If you just joined it, here's McVeigh, forced to kick on his non-preferred side. He balanced, but couldn't quite work at that.
Good first quarter. Jared McVeigh had the 9 possessions. Him and Bird and Kennedy racking up the numbers in the midfield.
Now this man is a booming kick pass. He kicks the ball a long way.
Big Tassie boy, BT.
Yeah, well, not so sure he'll get it over the short distance. The play on the long bomb is his go.
Look at that.
Get it over the top of that zone, and he's just about succeeded there. Richards with the paddle back, but they're losing ground. Ball over the line.
Good point you make there, BT, about those long kicks to clear the zone. Teams are going to have to try something different this year, and might even see a few torps, I reckon, from fullback Dust this year.
More of it, please. I love the torpedo. Devon Smith and Cornelio and some of the young guys, I'm liking the fact they're getting in the face of their opposition. They're prepared to just say, hey, this is a competition. Don't worry about me being 18. I'll give it to you when the opportunity arises.
Don't look intimidated, that's for sure.
No, they're matching it with them in the physical inside contest, aren't they?
You look at the great Port Adelaide sides that won premierships that Mark Williams was the coach. That was really their hallmark. They were aggressive. They were in your face. Kevin Sheedy's Bomber side in 2000. A lot of hard-nosed players. So I get the feeling that is going to be the message for the Giants.
Cornelio to shield. Jetta was in there. Look at the pace, the speed.
Oh.
Magnificent. The poise to deliver to Roberts Thompson. Brilliant.
That's what he can do, Jetta. He's a game breaker. He breaks out of stoppages where no other player can. You just got to see more of it.
He wanted it back then, and it was a chance. But Robert Thompson, don't get carried away with what you can't do, big fella.
Yes.
Not sure he can do this either.
He's been a defender, big LRT, most of his career.
Well, he's going to have to kick the 50 here. Just inside it, gave it every little bit and nursed it through quite brilliantly. Roberts Thompson. Jetta there, you can see breaking away, magnificent speed. Roberts Thompson with the jukes out in front, not allowing the defender to get near it, Richo.
Might be a new role for LRT this year. He's been a defender most of his career, but led nicely into the ball on that occasion.
Bolton, opportunity out of the middle. A bit of a hand in the face to Townsend. Hoskin Elliott went with the hands and not the body. Here's McGlynn. Weaved nice to Kennedy. Now Bird just releases the ball backwards slightly. Here's the favoured side of Melcheski. Good looking left foot use. And I don't reckon they knew he's a left footer, and Reed is marked as a result.
Sheer weight of numbers there for Phil Davis, who we really like the way he's played so far in the game. He's been accountable. You can see the young Giants just mixing up a bit here off the ball, which is a good sign, but he's going to have a lot of footy come his way, Phil Davis. He'll play on the key defender. I think at some stage, we got one off the ball here.
Oh, it's been reversed.
Yes, it has. It's going to go GWS's way, so
I think the big mummy might have been involved, BT.
a bit of pushing and shoving. Little wee man McGlynn was in there too.
Yes.
He's always annoying in those circumstances.
The short man syndrome going on there for sure with Ben McGlynn. But well done to the Giants. They've sucked a free kick in. Sam Reid having a shot at goal. A small win.
There's Bug. Short ball to Corns.
Now, how filthy is Sam Reid at the moment? When you're lining up for goal and one of your teammates gives away a free kick, not happy.
Yes, it was a bit of an opportunity for me time for Reedy, and he didn't get it.
Richo used to cope well in those days, Richo, when that happened, didn't he? He used to wave the arms around a bit from time to time.
Do you reckon BT would have coped with it?
Imagine the arms from Richo man.
Don't you, BT? You're the best I've ever seen on YouTube.
There's Big Giles and Mummy getting tangled up. They both had a hold of each other, so the umpire called it a 0-0 draw. McDonald and Palmer. Palmer did well. Davis needs to be steady. He's not. Let's get down to Cameron Ling.
Gary Rowan update, boys. Of course, he copped that heavy knock in the first quarter. He's had the head strapped up. He's coming on the ground right now with the cut eye, but it's his shoulder that was the big concern. But I think he's all right and should be fine for the rest of the night.
Kick by Melcheski, this time looking for and finding a very nice overhead mark by Reid. Geez, good overhead.
He's got the potential to be an absolute A-grader in the game, Sam Reid. It was a breakout year last year. Took 40 contested marks. Really puts himself in a great position to win the footy. He's got great courage above his head. Never takes his eye off the footy. And for Sydney to be able to have an exciting forward like this is just a great thing.
Will he get the kick at this time? Looks like he will. They won't give away. It was the exact position where he had the one taken off him a moment ago.
Only just needs to get his kicking sorted out. He does miss shots that he should kick at this stage. But what I like about him, as I said earlier, he's nearly taken a heap of marks, but he just keeps presenting. And as he does that, as the game wears on, eventually the defender will drop off.
Have a look at, they've not allowed more to play on there, and they've forced him to just kick it long. Good mark taken by Big Izzy.
First touch, is it?
There he is, the big man. First kick for Izzy Folau to centre wing. Melcheski thumps it back, and Izzy's going to have to do some defensive work now because it's coming his way. Goods in front, couldn't quite work it down. Opportunity for Goods to attack it again. Roberts Thompson, they're big down there at the moment. But it was GWS, and now Mumford fumbles it over the line.
Josh Kennedy just getting a little bit out of control. We might ask Cameron Ling, one of the great taggers of all time, how do you stop a guy like Josh Kennedy, Lingy?
Josh Kennedy's just so good in a stoppage. Brilliant in a one-on-one contest situation. You've got to make sure that you're wearing very closely at stoppages, but try and exploit him out in space. It's probably the one weakness he does have, why he's not quite in that elite category. He's not as quick over the ground, which, having said that, I probably wasn't either. So I'd put someone very quick on him and let him run off him.
So you look to play in front of him, Lingy, or behind him, do you reckon, or beside him?
I tended to play him from behind and try and push him in under the ruckman's feet, just so he couldn't use his body on me, but he's very hard to move in a contest.
There's Ward, really fighting hard in there. Gary Rowan got one high.
Gary Rowan's free.
Genuinely quick, Gary Rowan. Great speed. Lives with Dan Hanbury. His teammates had a good summer, but been his night so far, Gary Rowan. He's been cleaned up. He just copped a little one there and earned himself a free kick.
Yeah, Gary Rowan, he's got a lot of pace. He's another player that's going to really help the Swans improve this year. Him and Parker are the two that I think can really improve them.
Here's the two ruckmen, Jonathan Giles and Mumford. Been a good battle between those, and many thought that Mumford would just completely outpower Giles, but that hasn't been the case so far.
Just got to keep absorbing this pressure, GWS. It's been in Sydney's forward half the entire quarter. They've worn it pretty well. They just need to get it into their forward half now and make them ends.
Causes them a few issues. They had to go short there because there just isn't a tall target down there. Israel Folau probably the lead up forward, but At this stage, there's all the space, isn't it, Richo, in the forward half of the ground. They're just chasing kicks, pushing up the ground, haven't really got a forward set up at all.
Well, as the key forward there, Izzy, at half forward, he has to present for that one, Das, and just didn't get there on that occasion.
Giles has done it again over the top of Mumford this time. He's trying not to get involved in a pushing and shoving match. Quickly out of it, here's Cornelio. Didn't have the peripheral vision on that occasion. Had the strength to get out of it, though. McDonald, fast hands, nicely done. Homsch involved here. Another one of the debutants. Here's Cameron, the centre half forward and half back. Now Moore. Not much on here. Takes them on. Goods try to get in. You can see his kicking style a little ungainly. And Shield giving away the free.
Jeez, you're onto this, BT.
What's that?
It doesn't have to look good as long as it's effective.
I didn't say anything about the effectiveness of it, Richo, so don't get all stuttery over nothing. Here's Jeddah. Long ball in. Rowan, the front and centre. Parker there as well. Had a good nab cut, Parker.
Tell you what I like that last passage of play was Stephen Cornelio. For a young player, 18-year-old, that don't argue on LRT, who had him in his sights, had the ability to wrap him up. That's what we're going to love about the Giants this year, just seeing the quality and the character and the talent of this young group.
And composure to push himself off and then get the handball away. Here's McGlynn. Gee, got a high one. He'll get a kick again here. Will it be downfield?
Has he kicked? Has he kicked it high? Yours hit.
So it'll be a McGlynn kick. So
Jonathan, thanks for it.
and he'll struggle with the journey there, I would have thought, McGlynn.
Bit of the angry pills about him, young Jacob Townsend, 31. Here he is. That was a little callous.
Don't mind that, though. It's great to see, I reckon, in their first game. Benny McGlynn, he was a real positive for the Swans last year. As a goal kicker, he can find space forward of the ball, Ben. He pops up everywhere forward of the footy.
He's on the
Pop-up sprinkler, they're called, but he reads the play so well.
So this will be right on his depths of his kicking. From 50 metres out, travelling, journeys covered just, goal. Swans get another here in the second.
Magnificent night here in Sydney, BT, and I reckon the AFL will be really happy with the crowd at a glance. They were hoping for between 35 and 40,000, but a great shot there. Looks to be a really good turnout for this first game of AFL footy for the Giants.
Flower with a win in the ruck then. Crashing through was Townsend. There's an entry inside 50 for one of the rare times in this quarter. Given the fact we've played 11.5 minutes. Not a lot of opportunity for GWS here in this quarter. Spun the tackle, Everett. Still kept the arms clear. Here's Shield again. Geez, impressive. Very, very impressive. Wilson around the corner. Palmer couldn't quite get on the bottom of it. Here he goes again. Wilson. He's got fleet of foot. And a trip. We'll see the boy from Peel Thunder there in Mandurah get an opportunity here.
It's down your way, BT.
Yeah, Mandurah. It's my old hometown there. Richo.
Tell you what I love, there was a one-handed pick up there from Devon Smith in traffic with the heat around him that was as clean as you'd ever see from an experienced player, and to get that done in his first game is generally exciting.
Best mate of Harley Bennell is Nathan Wilson, both from Mandurah. Wilson comes in now. That is a whopping 55-metre hoist to the ball. The young man has kicked his first goal in footy. Nathan Wilson.
Well, he was very confident having this shot at goal, Wilson. That has carried all of 55, 60 metres. Great goal for your first goal in AFL footy, and we'll head down to Cameron Ling.
We mentioned that Gary Rowan's major concern was his shoulder. He's just come off and his shoulder looks absolutely no good. The doctors are checking him out now, but he looks in a lot of trouble. I'm not sure if he'll take much further part. He's a very, very sore boy.
That's all from that bump, Lingy.
Yes, it is, BT.
Palmer, deep inside 50. Opportunity again. Ball dribbled out of the middle. Might have been Hoskin Elliott, I reckon. And he kicks his first goal. Back-to-back for GWS.
How good was that? Front and centre, clean hands. We've heard a bit about Hoskin Elliott, his athletic ability and his talent. Well, that was great positioning. Front and centre, took it beautifully. Great goal.
Brett Kirk, you're in amongst the crowd. Maybe not.
Yes, mate, we're in the stands with Steve Canelio's dad, Sandro. Mate, we're both pretty nervous early on. Have the nerves eased?
Not really, Brett, no. I think it's got worse, I think.
And Stephen was the story of the first quarter. Did you think he was ready-made to play AFL?
Look, he's a mentally tough kid, so whatever he puts his mind to, we're just very proud of him. I think so, yeah. He goes hard.
Enjoy the rest of the game, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Tell you what, Brett Kirk's looking nice and casual down there, Das. He's got the check shirt on, the open neck.
Very relaxed individual, our man Kirky.
Now the middle Sydney this time, they get an entry. Here is Hoskin Elliott again, doing it at both ends at the moment. Kicks out in the direction of Shield, who's got a bit of a chase here with Hanbury. And Shield, there he is, number 5. And of course had his appendix out just 6 weeks ago, boys.
It's a big frame, isn't it, for a young man entering the game. But that's something for the Giants to take away at half-time, isn't it, Richo? To get a couple of goals, a bit of reward for their effort.
We know what does. They held them at bay for the first 10 minutes there. They had 5 or 6 inside 50s in a row. They held at bay and then got 2 goals down the other end. That's a terrific sign.
This part of the game has been impressive. The harassing, the pressure skills from Sydney have been really capable. Over the top, couldn't get it. Grundy picked up by the speedster Hampton. He runs away. Clear shot missed. Excitement machine.
He had a glance over his shoulder at Ted Richards and went, "You're no chance of getting me."
He's never going to get there.
Just took a bounce. Unfortunately for him, the conversion wasn't there. But it's exciting, isn't it?
Well, the last 5 minutes we've seen that pick up from Devon Smith, the one-hander, the crumb from Hoskin Elliott, which was all class, and then Hampton running away from his opponent. This is the future. This is what they're going to be able to do, these guys.
And the long 55-metre goal from Wilson to add to that list. Richo, so exciting stuff. Here's Goods. Talk about exciting. Moore, the big fella who has been resilient in defence, there's no doubt about that. Bug sees it over the line against McGlynn.
Timmy Moore, he's caught your eye tonight.
He has.
The big boy, isn't he? 23 years of age, one of their mature recruits. You like him?
Something about him that doesn't look quite right. I'm not sure what it is, but he's just a great footballer. You know, I don't know whether it's the beard or the shape of the body, but he gets it done. He's good fun.
I reckon he's just an old-fashioned defender, but
That's what
a little bit ungainly.
Yeah.
But he's getting the job done. They haven't taken a lot of marks inside 50. Davis and Big Moore have done the job down there.
As you said, the great man Stephen Silvani, the fullback of the century, is the list manager. And he's had a few little chats with Timmy Moore about the way he plays. A pretty handy role model for the young man.
I think he actually gets out on the deck with him a bit and does a bit of training with him too. Sauce, the fullback of the century. Davis pushed out of the way. Reed, an opportunity to turn around and lessen the angle. Was it over the line? Goal umpire said, let's listen.
Back in,
No,
please.
goal umpire
You
said
okay?
it's
Yeah.
okay.
We've got the review system in too tonight. They'll be pretty keen to use it at some stage.
Said they will. That one was tight for room. Here's Jeremy Cameron. Gloved it with the one hand, and the tackle by McVeigh was really good.
Tackle to 30.
These are the tactics that we became so accustomed to last year. Sides flooding forward and putting all their numbers in the forward half of the ground and saying, try and work your way through it. I've been really impressed with the Giants. They've actually held strong under a really good pressure side Sydney. They're great at making you force you into errors.
Deliberate tap to Goods on the run then. McDonald tried to push through. Umpires are letting it go, and they've been consistent with that. Bolton around the corner. Fumbling attempt to mark. Will just relieve the pressure for GWS here.
It's really, this is a tough job kicking in. The numbers, you've got to try and pinpoint a kick. He's gone wide to the pocket, but it is so hard to get through these zones these days.
Phil Davis short to Hampton. Phil Davis studying commerce, was originally studying law up here at Sydney University. Smart cookie, their skipper. And a hell of a nice guy, and recruited from Adelaide and has fitted in up here like a glove from all reports. Phil Davis. Back flies, no winner in the air there, and put his head over at Bird, but Palmer was just that little bit more urgent to win it.
So they've got a free kick here. I think he's pointing the wrong way. It's a Giants ball. Just a nice disciplined play that from the Giants. They didn't try and overcook it. They were able just to play the percentages down the line and get a hard free kick by putting your body in the right spot.
Here's Cameron, got a good leap at it. Looked good. Kicked the last two, GWS. Hanbury, Parker wants to get back inside the corridor kick, and there's closing here. The speed of Rowan. Had to go Corns, and he did it brilliantly. Moore and Corns combining, but the turnover kick to Jeddah. Parker. The hoist inside 50. The early leap, not smart. And now Davis. GWS in one side, out the other. And now Tomlinson. Right in front of the interchange here on the western side of ANZ Stadium. Richards. Jeddah.
Play on, play on.
Pretty bright, those wheels. Ran into trouble, did Grundy. They've come at him from every direction. And now Jeddah's got to do it against Ward. You reckon he'd be able to show him a clean pair of heels, but Ward was resilient.
A lot of people had their eyebrows raised at Callum Ward, given the enormous amount of money. Rich, have a look at this first.
Yeah, just young Cameron there. He's got a great leap on him, and as he gets a little bit more weight on, he'll be able to hold those marks.
Ball inside 50. Have the wheels. Richards is able to mark and find the loose man out wide, and they'll get a bit of open ball here. Alex Johnson. Goods. Good attempt over the top. In the end, Palmer did well to give away the free because he was beaten, wasn't he?
Yeah, probably a good result in the end for the Giants. It gives their defence a chance to set up and get back. I was just making the point, Richard, before about Callum Ward. There's some eyebrows raised from people about him commanding the sort of money and the attention that he has. You've got an instinct there of what he does. He's just a great, hard competitor.
Matner from McGlenn to Reed. Davis chases him. Reed's got him on the boundary line. This time corralled him.
Well, you'd know better than me, but they saw him as a future leader at the Doggies, Dust, didn't they? And that's why they were shattered to lose him, because you can't find leaders all the time.
The players that play the game the way you really want it to be played, to do the right thing at every occasion, it's just a rare quality. He was a beauty, Callum Ward, and a massive, massive bonus for the Giants.
Austin Elliott out in the direction of Devon Smith. This kid's a beauty. Michael Turner down there at Geelong Falcons says he is one of the very best to ever come out of that Falcons regions, which has produced the most draftees of any under-18 team in the comp.
There's the forward half of the ground for the Giants. They're just kick chasing a little bit, pushing up the ground. They need to make sure they maintain some sort of forward setup. But what a quarter it's been. They're only down by 2 points this quarter. They've competed superbly.
Jack. Threw himself out at Townsend, had a real red-hot crack.
GWS.
And I think it's Townsend will get the free. This young man,
he's gone hard, hasn't he?
Well, he was playing rugby at 14 years of age, decided he'd have a crack at Australian rules, and here he is playing on the biggest stage. Amazing story. A lot of stories in this team, of course.
They're just hemmed in at the moment because their half forwards are pushed up too far, and they've let Marty Matner just sit loose behind the play. He'll chop you off all day long doing that.
Davis has got to go. He got tunnelled slightly by McGlenn there.
Yeah, good decision for the umpire. And again, well done from Phil Davis. He just made sure he attacked the footy and drew the free kick.
Palmer, who's been very, very impressive.
He's almost a forgotten man, Bruce Palmer, for me. I actually had a surprise when I saw him up here at training yesterday. He was an uprising star winner at Fremantle a couple of seasons ago. He's a great gut runner. There's Kirtley Hampton's ball that's just gone out of bounds, but he can just cover the ground. He's got limitations with the kicking, but he might be a fine for the Giants.
Leading possession getter here tonight for the GWS is Palmer. And 12 touches now. Ball back in the direction of Giles and Davis. Reed, quick recovery skills from Reed. Brilliant handball. Jack, Kennedy and Goods all combining here for the Swans to advance forward. Roberts-Thompson with that big body. Did well to knock it away initially. Handball onto Bolton. Time to shape it around the corner. Nicely conjured up goal from the Swans.
He's a class act. Jude Bolton really added another dimension to his game in the last 12 months. His ability to play as almost a medium to key forward. Shane Mumford, someone tonight I thought was just going to dominate, use his big frame and intimidate. But credit to that man there, Giles. He's got the big fist on it, BT. I reckon he's been very good tonight.
Yeah, been very competitive. Hez Hampton went without it. Goods and Kennedy. That dynamic duo tidy things up here. McDonald through a bit of traffic. He needs some help. He's surrounded about 5 Swans. Kennedy picked it up. Goods, for some reason, tried to swipe it on. I thought he probably thought he was under pressure. Speaking of pressure, Hampshire's under plenty, and Goods is filthy with himself. Really annoyed at not taking possession of that ball.
Well, Richo, a lot to like about the Giants tonight. What stood out to you? What's impressed you tonight?
Well, just the class. You've heard about all of these young kids, but we've seen glimpses of class from most of them. All of them have done something, and that bodes well for the future.
Magnificent spinning pirouette out of trouble by Ward. Having a crack, this man here, Kellen Ward.
They called him Cement Head at the Bulldogs, Richo. And
actually, they reckon he's the resident hairdresser down at the Giants. Really? Yeah, he's advising the young guys on how they should cut their hair.
His grandfather wore number 8 for the old South Melbourne side, so a little bit of history in that number. Here's Corns, and standing in front was Matner.
Yeah, they've got to make him accountable, Matner. He's just loose across half-back at the moment.
Jetta couldn't quite get there. Hoskin Elliott, quick ball. Now Palmer goes here along with Smith. Palmer and Smith both at it, kept it alive. No help.
Actually, Cameron Ling was telling us yesterday that Reece Palmer has got his spread from the contest is as good as any. Just wasn't running to the right spots at times, but he's got great spread, and we saw it on that occasion.
Smith over the top, here he is. Palmer from 50 metres out. Across the face, let's get down to Cameron Ling on the boundary.
Hey, boys.
Might even be Kirky.
Yeah, you spoke about Jacob Townsend earlier. I worked pretty close to him last year. He was a country boy from Leeton. Callan Ward's actually said it's one of the toughest players he's actually seen and played with, which is a fantastic tribute to him.
Absolutely. In range here is Ralph Lau, wins the knockout. And the tackle on Jude was brutal.
Yeah, he's just hunting after someone, isn't he? He's not too shy on the back of a couple of reports last week. It'd be great to just see him pin someone, Richo, with that massive frame that he's got.
He could kill someone if he actually got them properly. Well, his thighs are enormous.
GWS have done well to spread here and cover all positions. They're letting them have the sideways kick, but they're not letting them have an uncontested kick forward like this. Reed! Magnificently!
He's going to be pretty special, this guy. That is a terrific contested mark. He's only 20 years of age. He's nowhere near his peak yet.
Has he got a set of jukes on him, this guy? Magnificent stuff, Jack. They work it forward of the boot of Everett. Corns needs to trap it, and he does just, but he's kept it alive. Brilliant recovery from Corns to smother. And now Moore says, let's steady.
Luke Parker was the Sydney Swan there who had his kick smothered. He was also the man that got cleaned up by Junior McDonald at the start of this quarter. And he's had a great summer, Luke Parker, probably the informed player of the NAG Cup, and he just hasn't seemed to have got it right since then.
Folau, very, very competitive in the air there, Big Izzy. And that's a deliberate kick, but well disguised, I thought.
We might ask Brett Kirk his thoughts on Sam Reid. How good could he be, Kirky?
No, we know Sam Reid loves the contest, and I think in 18 months' time he's going to be an absolute superstar. But as a kid, he was a small, skinny kid, and he actually was pretty scared of the contest, he told me a few years ago.
The Corn story is a great one, getting another opportunity here. He's trained the house down. He's showing the young kids how to do it. Here's Bird from 50 metres out to the open goal square. Got to get back, and he does, Jeremy Cameron.
Sign of a good player has always been able to read the play, and Jeremy Cameron reads the play very well. He anticipated that kick and where it was going, gets behind the ball, and they like to be able to swing him back and forward, and he's doing a good job.
Now for possession number 14, Reece Palmer has worked incredibly hard so far in this game.
Takes it down the line to a contest, and I think Wilson's the man that got nudged out of it. No free, and now Grundy. Melcheski. Just a bit of controlled tempo stuff here with a minute and a half remaining in the lead, and A 25-point Sydney margin.
And their structures have held up. Their structure and pressure has held up for the whole first half. It's going to be a test now after half-time, but I think we're all pretty surprised at how competitive they've been so far.
We are. McVeigh there couldn't glove that one. So just over a minute left. The runners are out there. They've informed the players, and they'd be aware not to risk any scoring opportunities here. Giles has done an enormous job in the ruck, picked up by Bird, advanced around the corner. Everett's there, so is Moore.
Yeah, they've actually plonked Cameron as a loose man. I reckon they just want to make sure they don't concede another goal before half-time, and they'll go in pretty content, Das, with their first half.
Yeah, they've got it done around the clearance situation, Richard. They've won it this quarter 14-12, the Giants. And we know they drafted heavily on talented midfielders. Well, they'll be able to take away this quarter and say this was a really promising start in their first ever game.
He dived into the legs. It's a free kick.
He dived into
Jumped straight into it.
but he didn't have possession of it in the end. And I think the umpire was wrong-sided there.
We'll have to have another look at it, but
I think that's what happened. And the bleeding head here as well will remain. He'll come from the ground. Have a look at this. Doing the ruck work. Giles over the back got a hand on it. They got an accidental knee in the head.
Well, that's young Townsend, who is as hard as a cat's head. He's had his head split open, and I reckon he's really stiff here. Look, made the play. Look at that bravery. Just smashed into the contest. Kieran Jack gives him a knee in the head. He'd probably play the first free kick, Rich, I would have thought, which is a high contact.
Yep.
And really harshly done by there, Jacob Townsend. But I love him. He's just a ripper.
Missed the first one. The second one was right, if you're not going to pay the first when you're speaking technicalities. Here is Mumford. Mumford comes in, shot at goal, looks pretty damn good, and Sydney kicked their fourth goal of the quarter. Sheedy immediately onto the phone, and Longmire a little more comfortable with that.
I reckon he's really stiff, young Townsend. I know the umpiring, Geesh, and the umpiring department will say if you dive on the ball, it's a free kick, but that young guy is playing on his instinct, and his instinct is to go for the football, and that's what he's done. He's had his head split open for doing it, and I just reckon it's harsh. Very, very harsh. That's his instinct. That's the way he plays.
The umpires just generally missed the knee to the head. And as you said, BT gone with the second one. And Shane Mumford gets a bit of a gift there. The big mummy who hasn't had it all his own way tonight. Jonathan Giles, who's mature age rookie, 4 years at Port Adelaide, didn't get a game at Port Adelaide. I think tonight, good effort to compete against one of the best ruckmen in the game.
Up they go in the middle. Another good contest. Gee, Bolton looked like he got a bit of a whack then. He looked like he almost lost sight of the ball.
We were training yesterday with the Giants, and there was a bit of mail coming out our way, Brian, that they weren't overly happy with some of the technique of Shane Mumford, that he gets across the line, not unlike the way Matthew Primus played his footy going back 6 or 7 years. Haven't seen so much of it tonight. I reckon it's been pretty even around the contest.
No, he doesn't seem to get into the man first. He's done it legally tonight, that is for sure. But Smith to Jeddah. Siren sounds, intriguing half of football. GWS making history here tonight at ANZ Stadium in front of a very, very good crowd. And it is the Swans leading by 31 points, a 452. GWS Giants 3-3-21.